Some royal moments unfold with trumpets, tradition, and carefully choreographed ceremony. Others arrive almost unnoticed, hidden in a glance, a decision, or a public appearance that seems ordinary until people begin asking why it happened that way. When Catherine, Princess of Wales, made her long-awaited return to the Chelsea Flower Show, many expected the headlines to focus on her presence alone. Instead, attention quietly shifted toward something else entirely. According to reports and the observations of several royal commentators, the event sparked renewed discussion about the dynamics within the royal family. What initially appeared to be a celebration of nature, resilience, and Catherine's gradual return to public life soon became the center of a much larger conversation. Some observers questioned whether subtle decisions surrounding the occasion reflected more than simple scheduling or royal protocol. Others dismissed those interpretations entirely. That uncertainty is exactly what makes this story so compelling. For generations, the monarchy has communicated as much through symbolism as through official statements. A seating arrangement, a shared smile, or even an unexpected absence can fuel weeks of debate. But separating meaningful signals from public speculation is never simple. And when emotions, family relationships, and royal tradition collide, the truth often becomes more complex than the headlines suggest. This is not merely the story of one public engagement. It is a story about legacy, perception, and the extraordinary pressure placed on every member of the royal family. It asks whether quiet gestures can reshape public opinion, and whether moments intended to celebrate unity can unintentionally reveal deeper tensions. So as Catherine stepped back into one of Britain's most beloved royal traditions, one question lingered over the day. Were people witnessing nothing more than an inspiring royal comeback? Or had the event unintentionally exposed a deeper story about relationships within the monarchy that no official statement could fully explain? Much discussion, it was necessary to look beyond the flowers, the photographs, and the headlines. The event itself has long been more than a celebration of horticulture. For generations, it has represented continuity, tradition, and the uniquely British connection between nature and national identity. Members of the royal family have attended the show for decades, often using it as an opportunity to support environmental initiatives, celebrate community projects, and connect with the public in a setting that feels noticeably less formal than a state ceremony. For Catherine, the Chelsea Flower Show has carried a particularly personal significance. Over the years, she has consistently championed the importance of the natural world, especially its role in children's emotional and physical well-being. One of her most memorable contributions came when she helped create a Back to Nature garden, encouraging families to spend more time outdoors and highlighting the positive effects that green spaces can have on mental health. The project reflected an approach that has become central to her public work, using royal visibility to promote causes with practical, lasting impact. That commitment has shaped the public's perception of Catherine. Unlike many public figures who seek attention through dramatic statements, she has generally built her reputation through consistency. Her engagements often emphasize listening rather than speaking, participation rather than performance. Whether visiting schools, hospitals, or community organizations, she has cultivated an image of calm professionalism, balancing warmth with the restraint expected of a future queen. Then came one of the most difficult periods of her public life. Following concerns about her health and a prolonged absence from royal duties, Catherine asked for privacy while she focused on treatment and recovery. Her message was met with widespread sympathy from across Britain and around the world. Public appearances became understandably rare, and each update regarding her health was followed closely by people hoping to see her return when she was ready. That period changed the emotional meaning of every future engagement. Her eventual return was no longer just another appearance on the royal calendar. It became a symbol of resilience, patience, and the careful balance between personal well-being and public responsibility. Every smile, every conversation, and every step back into public life carried a significance that extended well beyond the event itself. The Chelsea Flower Show therefore represented something larger than a day in the royal diary. It offered a setting associated with renewal, growth, and hope, ideas that resonated naturally with Catherine's own journey. Gardens have long symbolized recovery after difficult seasons. They remind us that healing often happens gradually, quietly, and without fanfare. For many people watching, that symbolism made her appearance deeply moving. Yet within the royal family, no public moment exists in complete isolation. Every engagement is viewed alongside the broader relationships that shape the monarchy. Senior royals often attend events together, support one another's charitable causes, and present an image of institutional unity. At the same time, each individual also brings distinct priorities, personalities, and responsibilities. This is where Queen Camilla enters the story. Since becoming queen, Camilla has gradually established her own public role through literacy campaigns, support for domestic abuse survivors, and various charitable initiatives. Her position has evolved significantly over the years, particularly following King Charles III's accession. She now occupies one of the monarchy's most visible roles, while continuing to navigate a public image shaped by decades of complex history. Royal commentators frequently note that every interaction involving senior royals invites interpretation. A shared engagement can be viewed as a sign of solidarity. Separate schedules may simply reflect different responsibilities. An absence can generate speculation despite having entirely routine explanations. This has always been part of royal life. The monarchy rarely explains every scheduling decision or every appearance. Instead, palace officials generally allow engagements to speak for themselves, leaving room for observers, commentators, and the media to develop their own interpretations. That reality became especially important as discussions surrounding the Chelsea Flower Show began to grow. Some reports suggested that Catherine's return naturally drew overwhelming public attention, with photographs and coverage focusing heavily on her appearance after months away from public duties. Several royal commentators observed that this level of interest was entirely understandable given the circumstances. Others wondered whether the day's optics unintentionally shifted attention away from other senior members of the royal family. It is important, however, to distinguish between documented events and interpretation. Publicly available information confirms Catherine's attendance and the widespread interest surrounding her return. Claims regarding personal feelings, internal disagreements, or deliberate acts of exclusion remain matters of speculation unless supported by credible evidence. Many headlines use dramatic language to attract attention, but such framing does not necessarily reflect confirmed facts. That distinction is essential, because this story is ultimately not about proving hidden conflict. It is about understanding why certain public moments inspire so many questions. The royal family operates through symbolism. Small details often become subjects of national conversation precisely because so much is communicated through tradition rather than explicit explanation. A photograph can generate countless interpretations, even when no official message was intended. As Catherine walked through the gardens, speaking with exhibitors, admiring carefully designed landscapes, and greeting visitors with her familiar composure, the atmosphere reflected optimism more than controversy. Yet outside the event itself, conversations continued to grow. According to several royal commentators, the day's significance extended beyond horticulture or even Catherine's return. They suggested it had become a reflection of the monarchy's evolving public image, one in which individual personalities increasingly shape public perception alongside institutional tradition. That raised an intriguing question. Could one carefully observed appearance reveal something meaningful about the future of the royal family, even if no one involved intended it to do so? Or were people simply projecting larger narratives onto an occasion that was, at its heart, a celebration of resilience and renewal? As analysts revisited photographs, compared public engagements, and debated the symbolism of the day, one detail continued drawing attention. It was subtle. It was easily overlooked. But according to those who study royal history most closely, it may have explained why this seemingly ordinary appearance became one of the most talked about royal moments of the season. As the gates of the Chelsea Flower Show opened and visitors began making their way through pathways lined with extraordinary floral displays, the atmosphere was filled with anticipation. Designers had spent months preparing landscapes that blended artistry with environmental purpose. The gardens celebrated resilience, biodiversity, and renewal, themes that, perhaps unexpectedly, mirrored the public mood surrounding Catherine's return. When the Princess of Wales arrived, attention naturally followed. It had been some time since the public had seen her participating in a major engagement of this nature. Cameras captured her greeting exhibitors, pausing to admire intricate garden designs and engaging in thoughtful conversations with volunteers and horticultural experts. Her demeanor appeared composed, relaxed, and genuinely interested in the work before her. For many watching, the appearance itself became the story. After months in which public concern had centered on her health and recovery, simply seeing Catherine smiling, walking comfortably, and interacting naturally with those around her provided reassurance. Social media quickly filled with messages celebrating her return, with many people describing the moment as hopeful rather than ceremonial. Yet as photographs from the day spread across newspapers and television broadcasts, another conversation quietly began to emerge. Some royal commentators observed that media coverage overwhelmingly focused on Catherine's appearance, while comparatively little attention was given to other senior members of the royal family during the same period. That imbalance led some observers to wonder whether the event had unintentionally highlighted changing public dynamics within the monarchy. This is where headlines began using dramatic language. Phrases suggesting a royal snub or behind-the-scenes tension circulated widely online. However, it is important to separate those headlines from verified facts. There has been no official confirmation that Queen Camilla was deliberately excluded from any aspect of the Chelsea Flower Show, or that Catherine's appearance was intended to overshadow her. Royal schedules are influenced by numerous practical considerations, including existing commitments, health, security planning, and charitable priorities. Without reliable evidence, claims of deliberate personal conflict remain speculative. Even so, symbolism matters in royal life. The monarchy has always communicated through images as much as words. A single photograph can become iconic. A shared appearance can signal unity. Likewise, separate engagements may invite public interpretation even when they arise from routine scheduling. According to several royal commentators, Catherine's return demonstrated something increasingly evident over recent years: her ability to connect emotionally with the public. Observers pointed to her calm body language throughout the event. She maintained steady eye contact during conversations. She appeared genuinely engaged while listening to exhibitors explain their work. Rather than rushing from one display to another, she allowed interactions to unfold naturally. These details may seem small, but they contribute significantly to public perception. For decades, members of the royal family have understood that people remember how they are made to feel far more than the precise words spoken during an engagement. Catherine's strength has often been described as her consistency. She rarely seeks dramatic moments, yet many of her appearances leave a lasting impression because they feel authentic. Several commentators suggested that this authenticity explained why public interest became so intense. The Chelsea Flower Show was not simply about flowers. It became a symbol of recovery. It represented patience rewarded. It reflected resilience after months of uncertainty. That emotional context amplified every image released from the event. Meanwhile, discussions involving Queen Camilla continued in parallel. Camilla has spent years gradually reshaping her public role through literacy initiatives, support for victims of domestic abuse, and a wide range of charitable engagements. Since becoming queen, she has carried significant constitutional responsibilities alongside King Charles III. Many analysts argued that comparing the public attention received by Catherine and Camilla on a single day oversimplified the realities of royal life. Each fulfills a different role. Each appeals to different audiences. Each carries different expectations. Nevertheless, public perception does not always follow institutional logic. According to media analysts, Catherine currently enjoys exceptionally strong levels of public support, particularly following the openness with which she addressed her health challenges. That support naturally increased interest in her return to public duties, making it unsurprising that news coverage concentrated heavily on her appearance. In other words, media attention itself may have created the impression of imbalance rather than any deliberate action by members of the royal family. Still, another layer of symbolism continued to attract attention. The Chelsea Flower Show has long represented growth after hardship. Gardeners understand that flourishing landscapes often emerge only after long periods of careful preparation beneath the surface. Seeds remain invisible before they bloom. Recovery cannot be rushed. Many commentators found this symbolism remarkably fitting. Catherine's appearance did not attempt to erase the difficult months that preceded it. Instead, it acknowledged them quietly. She did not deliver an emotional speech about resilience. She simply appeared. Sometimes, presence communicates more than words ever could. That understated approach reminded some observers of a broader shift taking place within the monarchy. Modern royal leadership increasingly emphasizes visibility through meaningful engagement rather than elaborate ceremony alone. Whether supporting environmental causes, visiting charities, or meeting volunteers, the most memorable moments often arise from genuine interaction rather than formal protocol. As coverage of the Chelsea Flower Show continued, another interesting pattern emerged. Public conversations gradually moved away from speculation about conflict and toward appreciation of Catherine's work itself. Designers discussed environmental innovation. Visitors reflected on the calming influence of gardens. Mental health advocates highlighted the restorative power of nature, echoing causes Catherine has supported for many years. In many respects, the event returned to its original purpose. Yet the headlines about a supposed snub never fully disappeared. Some commentators continued interpreting the day's optics through the lens of internal royal relationships. Others cautioned against reading too much into media narratives built largely on inference rather than documented evidence. That divide revealed something important about today's relationship between the monarchy and public opinion. Royal events no longer belong solely to those who attend them. Within minutes, photographs circulate globally. Commentators offer competing interpretations. Social media users create their own narratives. A single image can generate thousands of different conclusions. Against that backdrop, perhaps the most revealing aspect of Catherine's Chelsea Flower Show appearance was not whether it exposed hidden tensions. It was how effortlessly it reminded people why symbolism remains central to royal life. One appearance, one setting, one carefully observed day, and suddenly, millions were discussing resilience, leadership, tradition, family, and the future of the monarchy. Whether those conversations reflected reality or projection is something history may judge more clearly with time. But one conclusion appeared undeniable. Catherine's return marked more than the end of a period of absence. It became a defining public moment, one that reinforced her role as one of the monarchy's most recognizable and emotionally resonant figures, while also reminding the world that, within the royal family, even the quietest gestures can spark the loudest conversations. When the crowds left the Chelsea Flower Show and the television cameras turned their attention elsewhere, the flowers remained exactly where they had been, carefully arranged, quietly beautiful, and patiently growing. In many ways, that image became the perfect metaphor for what the day ultimately represented. The lasting significance was never about a single headline. It was about how one public appearance encouraged people to think more deeply about resilience, leadership, and the evolving identity of the modern monarchy. Throughout its history, the royal family has adapted to changing generations without abandoning its oldest traditions. Every era has brought new expectations, and every future monarch has faced the challenge of balancing continuity with change. Today, that challenge is perhaps greater than ever. The monarchy exists in an age of instant communication, constant scrutiny, and social media, where every photograph can become a global talking point within minutes. Against that backdrop, Catherine's return carried meaning beyond the event itself. Her appearance reminded many people that public service is often measured not by dramatic speeches, but by consistency. During the months she stepped away from public life to focus on her health, there were countless headlines, rumors, and speculation. Yet when she returned, she did so with the same calm approach that has defined much of her royal work. Rather than making herself the story, she redirected attention toward the people, organizations, and causes represented at the Chelsea Flower Show. That quiet confidence is one reason many commentators believe Catherine has become one of the monarchy's most trusted public figures. Trust is not built overnight. It grows through repeated actions. It develops when words and behavior remain aligned over time. In Catherine's case, years of support for early childhood development, mental well-being, community initiatives, and environmental causes have created a sense of consistency that many members of the public recognize. Her return simply reinforced that image rather than redefining it. The discussion surrounding Queen Camilla also offers an important lesson about modern royal life. Headlines often suggest certainty where none exists. Phrases like royal snub or palace tension can attract enormous attention, but they do not necessarily reflect confirmed events. In reality, members of the royal family frequently carry out separate engagements based on different responsibilities, charitable priorities, and schedules. Public appearances may invite interpretation, yet symbolism should not automatically be mistaken for evidence of personal conflict. That distinction matters because the monarchy functions not only through public perception, but also through public trust. When viewers distinguish between verified facts and speculation, they gain a clearer understanding of how royal narratives are created. Sometimes the most dramatic story is not what happened inside the palace, but how the outside world chooses to interpret what it sees. Still, symbolism remains impossible to ignore. The Chelsea Flower Show has always celebrated growth after careful preparation. Gardens do not flourish because of one perfect day. They thrive through patience, resilience, and constant attention. Those same qualities increasingly define Catherine's public image. Observers have often described her as someone who prefers steady progress over dramatic gestures. That approach may prove especially significant as Prince William prepares for the responsibilities that await him in the future. Every future king benefits from trusted partners, and many royal historians have noted that successful royal partnerships are often built on complementary strengths rather than competing personalities. If William represents continuity and long-term vision, Catherine has increasingly come to symbolize stability and quiet reassurance. Together, they project an image that many people associate with the next chapter of the monarchy. That does not diminish the important role played by King Charles III or Queen Camilla. Their responsibilities remain central to the institution today, and both continue supporting a wide range of charitable and national causes. Rather, it highlights the reality that every generation naturally captures public imagination in different ways. The monarchy has always been a story told across generations. Queen Elizabeth II represented extraordinary dedication through decades of service. King Charles III has emphasized environmental stewardship, interfaith dialogue, and continuity during a period of historic transition. Prince William and Catherine increasingly represent preparation for the future, one shaped by modern communication, evolving public expectations, and a growing emphasis on emotional connection alongside constitutional duty. Perhaps that is why Catherine's return resonated so strongly. It reminded people that leadership is not always expressed through authority. Sometimes it is expressed through presence, through resilience, through returning with dignity after personal hardship. The broader conversation also reveals something about the public itself. People continue looking to the royal family not merely for ceremony, but for human stories. They recognize that behind official titles are individuals balancing family responsibilities, personal challenges, and public expectations. Those realities create moments that feel relatable despite the extraordinary circumstances of royal life. In the end, the Chelsea Flower Show was never truly about choosing between one royal figure and another. It became a reflection of how easily public perception can be shaped by symbolism, selective headlines, and emotional timing. While some commentators interpreted the event as revealing deeper tensions, the verified facts point more clearly toward Catherine's meaningful return to public duties after a difficult period in her life. Sometimes, that alone is enough to capture a nation's attention. As the gardens gradually changed with the seasons, the conversations surrounding that day continued. Some people remembered the flowers. Others remembered Catherine's smile. Many remembered the hope represented by her return. And perhaps that is the lasting legacy of the occasion. Not controversy, not rivalry, but the reminder that resilience often grows quietly, just like the strongest gardens. And in a monarchy built on centuries of tradition, it is often those quiet moments that leave the deepest impression on history. If this story reminded you that the most powerful royal moments are often the quietest ones, then you're in the right place. Here, we go beyond the headlines to explore the history, relationships, and human stories that continue to shape the royal family. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into the monarchy's most fascinating moments. Now we'd love to hear from you. Do you think Catherine's return to the Chelsea Flower Show was simply a heartfelt public comeback, or did it reveal something more about the future of the royal family? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next royal documenter. Why?